the year 2245 and the city of Royd was doing quite well for itself on a very busy day. It was 8:30 on a Monday morning and all the citizens were off to work. On most days, the people of Royd were moderately happy on a daily basis. Today, however, was different. See, the thing is, there was a recent and sudden infestation of bees in the city that was driving people crazy. These bees had come in from the eastern side of the country as a nearby meadow was recently destroyed to build another city. With the moderate tension in the air, one person was having a little bit of a rough time compared to the others. Fiona. She was the mayor's daughter. From the time she awoke, it seemed like she was being haunted by these bees. They had somehow managed to follow her into her room and even her school. The spark of her rage began when she was returning back home and got stung by one of the bees. She went straight to her father's office and made a complaint. Why are there so many bees outside? We need to exterminate them immediately.
I know there's been a recent outbreak in the bee population recently, but I'm sure it'll wear out soon. They just migrated due to the meadow destruction.
I don't care. I've had it up to here with the bees. They follow me everywhere I go, and one even stung me.
Listen, I understand, but we have to give them time to adjust to their new environment. I'm sure they'll migrate away soon.
Fiona left the office disappointed and frustrated. She knew her father wouldn't willingly get rid of the bee pollution since he's an environmentalist. She knew she had to take matters into her own hands, so that's exactly what she did. She went around Royd gathering signatures from people who were upset at the recent bee outbreak and went back to her father's office to hand him the petition. She felt wrong doing it but had no other choice. It was becoming a bigger nuisance for the city folk by the day. Reading the ultimatum he just received, Mayor John felt helpless. He knew that the consequences of exterminating bees would be detrimental, but he knew no other choice. In his state of uneasiness, he called an emergency meeting and requested everyone to come to the town hall for a hearing from him before he implemented the new bill.
Citizens of Royd, I understand your outcry against the bees and wanting to rid them of our city, but it is the utmost importance that we value our environment and all of its inhabitants. We must not fight against nature, otherwise the consequences will be very drastic.
We want Royd to be a place of calm and happiness, not fear and chaos. Get rid of the bees. Defeated, Mayor John went back to the office to make his final decision. He had to exterminate the bees or else people would go on strike and stop working. In the next few weeks, the exterminators came in and killed all the bees in Royd, and all the people of Royd seemed happy again. People were going out without any fear of being stung or bothered. Unfortunately, this was just the calm before the storm. The first signs of devastation were seen in the countryside where farmers could not seem to grow their crops at all. Even in the most perfect conditions weather-wise and environmentally, the crops just wouldn't grow. Due to this, the main food source of Royd, bread, was slowly becoming scarce. Restaurants and shops were closing down to this shortage too. Forests were gradually dying as well as the animals due to the lack of pollination in the environment. More atrocities like weather changes, more powerful storms and winds, and a drought had hit the main part of Royd as well. People were soon starting to feel the effects of the extermination of the bees. Motivation and happiness in the city of Royd was yet again back to where it was, in the dumps. Fiona felt responsible for all these atrocities but couldn't do much about it now. It was too late. Unhappy again, the Roydians this time called an emergency meeting at the town hall and demanded the mayor to speak on the situation of their city.
What's happening, John? Why is the city going back into a depression? Why aren't you doing anything to help out our city?
Yeah, I've been running low on food to serve to my children for the past 3 days and it's only getting worse.
I had warned you all that exterminating the bees would cause drastic effects to the city, but none of you listened. You all wanted to live carefree and ignorant towards the needs of nature, and now it's lashing back at us. I will think of a way to bring back normalcy.
Mayor John had had enough as well. He knew that these sudden mishaps weren't just a coincidence, but were actually a consequence of the bee extermination. Bees dying off can cause a major chain reaction in the ecosystem, eventually leading to the decrease in the quality of life in humans. Bee pollination is very important because this pollination helps plants reproduce as this pollen fertilizes plant eggs. Yep, those are real. After a lot of thinking, John went to his friend Bill's house and they both came up with a plan to keep both the Roydians happy and the environment. They implemented several green spaces around the city like gardens with tons of trees and flowers. A little farther away from the city, they also implemented bee nesting grounds where the bees can roam freely and pollinate as much as they want. Fiona even educated herself on the importance of bees and held several different seminars for the citizens of Reut. She provided them 3 simple strategies on how to help out bees, all while sitting at home. Number 1. Grow plants and flowers outside of your house. Bees usually have a hard time finding a safe place to find nutritious food, so growing plants and flowers outside your home is a fantastic way of helping out the bees and also adds beautiful decoration to your house as well. It is also important not to use pesticides and fertilizers on these plants as they are very damaging to their health. Number 2, speaking of food, water is also very important for bees and in fact all living beings including yourself. Keeping a small bird bath outside your house can not only help bees but also birds and other small animals free from thirst and dehydration. And finally, number 3, shopping at local beekeepers for honey is also a great way to help out the bee population. Beekeepers usually know how to handle bees properly by keeping a balance between taking their honey and also maintaining their living conditions appropriately.